Oh no, was that unlucky? Oh man, rats. Crap, dang it. The Bengals lost. Oh, welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Shane Diefenbach, joined as always by Johnny Venerable on this fine Monday. How you feeling?
I'm disappointed. Obviously the first game yesterday, the NFC Championship game, was not competitive.
No.
And I thought it wouldn't be, but in the sense that I thought Brock Purdy was just going to be exposed the whole game. Thankfully, the nightcap, the AFC title game, was a lot of fun. You feel gutted for Bengal fans. I think I would feel worse for them, Bo, or Shane. I'm sorry.
Ow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just talking with Bo. I think I would feel worse for them had they not just made the Super Bowl last year. Had they not just almost won a championship last year. They're in back-to-back AFC title games. I don't know if anybody thought they were the second or first best team in the AFC this year. I never did. And I don't think the team's as good as last year. I don't think Jamar Chase is playing as well. And then obviously they've got issues up front on their offensive line that were not exposed against Buffalo. So, I think the AFC is deeper than the NFC, but I think Philadelphia is still the best team, and I expect them to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we'll see. That line on the DraftKings Sportsbook app opened at a pick'em and is now to Eagles -2. So you can definitely get in on that. Lots of great props available on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Super excited, or they're going to be available. Super excited for that, and super excited just for the entire Super Bowl. So lots to bet on there. But let's break down this Chiefs-Bengals game a little bit because that's been the topic of controversy over the last 12 hours, I would say. People claiming the game is rigged. Which is hilarious to me because no game is rigged. But I can see where the frustration comes from. There were a lot of questionable calls. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that led up to that last call. I think it was a good call. It might be a shitty rule, but that's the rule. You can't push somebody when they're already out of bounds and they have both feet out of bounds. Like, it is what it is. I feel for Osai because he was great the entire game, but just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Maybe don't give up 50 yards on a punt return with under a minute to go. Don't do that. Maybe pick up fourth downs and maybe pick up third downs. There were 6 of 14 on third downs, and maybe capitalize on every play. Oh, and maybe don't throw 2 interceptions. I think that's the biggest thing. You're outgained on yards throughout the entire game. You're 6 of 14 on third down, and you allowed 5 sacks. So be better.
Be better. What I would also say is that if the calls were even throughout the course of the game, the last one would be easier to digest. They were not even. I don't know how anybody could argue that, but that doesn't make the final call incorrect.
Yep.
And you feel for the kid. He's 22 years old. He'll
incorrect. You don't think that should have been a rough or
No. I'm sorry. It makes the final call easier to stomach, but there were incorrect calls throughout the game, like giving them an extra set of extra down to pick up a third down conversion.
Let's talk about that. The back judge clearly did whistle. He did try to blow the play dead, but nobody heard him. What I don't get is why he didn't just run up and be like, stop the play.
Right.
He whistled because the clock was running. There was an explanation for that. They didn't just give them an extra play. I don't want to say that, but it is given the circumstance
that they don't fall through with the entirety of the play.
Yeah,
you got to go and you got to run up and you got to say, guys, stop.
Yeah, no, for sure. The ref needed to do that. But one, I mean, there was given an explanation, and 2, it didn't matter. They punted. It's fine. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but the optics don't look great. And then you think about the intentional grounding call on the possession.
Okay, do you think that's not intentional grounding?
I would say that in that situation when the running back was clearly in the box, I'm not hung up on it.
Yeah,
I'm not hung up on it. The Bengals offensive line played so poorly that they probably should have lost. And I think, listen, they're down to like multiple backups, 3 or 4 backups. So I'm not going to sit here and say Kansas City wasn't the better team. They were. Yeah. I think outside of the Bengals defense, I think was the best unit on the field yesterday.
Yeah.
But I think Kansas City overall made less mistakes. I think the Bengals made too many mistakes offensively. I did not think it was a good game for Zach Taylor. I thought they should have ran the ball more with Joe Mixon. That gave them a ton of quality results against Buffalo and kept Joe Burrow and the defense honest on the flip side. So again, I'm not broken up about it, but the optics weren't great for most of that game, but the final call was fine.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. the reffing was poor, but it didn't. I don't think it impacted the game the way everyone's making it seem, like it was
That's
completely
fair.
thrown.
No problem.
It is. Shit happens. And it's just such a storybook ending to the season of a team that I claim to be a lucky team. I mean, Patrick Mahomes just dropped the football. He just dropped it. But it sucks. I feel for Bengals fans. And look, I think this rivalry is going to be Manning and Brady. Everyone's been saying it. It's going to be fantastic. You can see it's already getting a little chippy. These teams aren't going to like each other, and I'm really excited for what continues. And we'll see if the Bengals can get back there, because I don't think they can. But now, if you're the Bengals, Johnny, what's your primary thing? Obviously, you get Burrow his money, but then do you pay T. Higgins what he deserves, or do you go?
Yeah, you keep the band together, because you're not paying Jamar Chase yet. I saw a good article this morning by somebody who I follow in Cincinnati. Like, the Bengals really haven't exhausted external funds to free agents yet. And you look at some of these other franchises that have pushed the boundaries. That's never been Cincinnati. So I think ownership kind of needs to get outside their comfort zone a little bit. Eli Apple at corner is not going to do it. You're not going to draft a cornerback next year, presumably, who's going to be a number one corner right away. So I would say T. Higgins is a priority, because otherwise he's going to end up in a place like Chicago. And then I would go out and I would try to splurge on the best free agent guard that I could find. I would try to go out and find a 1A or 1B corner. I think they have the front seven. The front seven's been fantastic. What I would be more concerned about, though, we're going to talk about this a little later. I mean, the Cardinals have put in requests to interview both offensive and defensive coordinators for Cincinnati. That's an issue. I think Lou is more valuable as a DC than Brian Callahan is as the OC, because Zach Taylor, it's his offense. But I think that where Kansas City has been so refined, even losing Tyreek Hill, is you've got Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and then on the flip side, your guy coordinating the defense. And none of those guys are threats to get head jobs somewhere. And that continuity, you can't put a price on it.
Yeah. If this doesn't tell you how good Spags is at saving what he needs the most till the end of the playoffs, I don't know what it is. The biggest play of the game, I tweeted this out, to get the Bengals off the field. And who lines up at D end? It's Chris Jones. And the right tackle looks up and was like, holy shit, what do I do? And of course,
it was bad.
Chris Jones gets a sack. That is my DPOY. I think he's been unbelievable. And it was fun to bet on last night. Both games were pretty fun. I had a lot of props of my own. My picks and props did okay. Not best. I didn't go over 50%. Johnny did better than me. But we'll get to that in a second. Before we get there, the props are already up on the DraftKings Sports we got for the Super Bowl, and I already found my favorite one. Any non-quarterback to throw a passing touchdown at plus 2,200. Come on. Philly special. Something's going to happen. You can also get a quarterback to have a receiving touchdown at plus 4,000. I like the first one more. There's a lot of value in that. You can also get an offensive lineman to score a receiving touchdown at plus 3,500, and just your normal props. But obviously the novelty props are where I love to bet. You can get the coin toss. You can get the Gatorade color. You can get a ton of other things. What was the octopus? What did we decide that was again? What was it? I gotta figure it out. Octopus.
You're making stuff up now on the fly.
No, will there be an octopus? Yes, is plus 1,400. Let me figure this out, because I remember finding
it. What's good, my man? What's up, Sly? What's up, Brandon? Thanks for hanging out with us today on bets. Should we get to my bets from this weekend?
Yeah, let's go. We can review yours.
Yeah, I did pretty well. Picked both games correctly. I thought you could have teased up the Eagles line more than that. I said that on Friday's show. I also thought Chiefs money line was, I don't want to say, a lock, but after what the Cincinnati mayor did and kind of putting his foot in his mouth, I did not foresee the Kansas City Chiefs, even when chips were down, I did not foresee them losing at home. And I thought Mahomes was good. Not one of his signature games. I thought the ankle injury and kind of milking that, I'm a little over. But the Bengals, again, this is not the team from last year. I don't think they're as hot as last year. And then the over-under didn't hit. The inclement weather played a part, and it was cold. But then also, like, both teams couldn't convert the red zone in the first half. That affected that. There were a lot of field goals to begin the first quarter. So I missed that by a 5 spot. But let's check out my props if we've got them, my guy. So Jalen Hurts' first touchdown did not hit. It was close. Miles Sanders got in. And I could tell they were making a conservative effort, Shane. to not give Jalen Hurts the ball in the red zone, to not let him run the football. He's still a little bit dinged up. And to me, that's something to watch for moving into the Super Bowl. But Devontae Smith did not hit his over in receptions either. He had only 2 catches, but that beauty of a 29-yarder down the sideline that probably should have been overturned. So went over there. But I believe I had a couple more that did hit.
Yeah, we'll get
Friday.
We'll get to those right now. There they are.
Mahomes pass TDs over. No. But how about this? McCaffrey, 80+ yards. So 1 for 3 on my props, 2 for 3 on my picks. Not terrible.
Yeah, we'll go into my picks. Obviously, I took the Bengals because I couldn't get burned by betting against the Bengals. He gave me blonde hair one time, that being Joe Burrow. So bet on the Bengals. And as somebody that bet on the Bengals, I will say again, the game was not fixed. It's just what happens. Niners plus 3.5. Injuries, like their entire team just died. It is what it is. But I don't know if they're covering that anyway. And then Cincinnati KC under 48. I bet they on the under in both games, and both of them hit. So we love that. And then we'll take a look at my props. Brock Purdy obviously got that. He was perfect on the day, but the under 31.5 passing attempts did hit, so we love that. Devontae Smith, I thought we were in for a big day with 66.5 receiving yards, but didn't get there. Then my other props. Mahomes did not throw a pick, but the weird turnover did come. The one I was thinking, it did come. Yes. I knew it was happening, but it wasn't in the form of an interception. And then Tyler Boyd, this was the worst one to watch. Tyler Boyd with 2 huge catches on the first drive and then hurts his leg and doesn't come back. He comes back in for 1 play and then doesn't play the rest of the game. That was a lock at plus money. Unfortunately, injuries happen and we move on. But that's why betting on the DraftKings Sportsbook app is the best place to bet on it, because you can always get a second chance with all of their great features, bonuses, and boosts. The octopus I figured out is when a player scores a touchdown and then immediately scores the 2-point conversion. So you can get that on the DraftKings Sportsbook app for the Super Bowl at plus 1,400. But as I said, there is only one place to bet on the Super Bowl, and that is the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Johnny, what's your favorite prop category to take in the Super Bowl?
Oh, man. The coin toss probably, because then you know right away, are you in plus money or not? And then you can reallocate and live bet during the game. I'm not a big Gatorade guy, and again, the props for me that I have the most joy in are the touchdown props. I think there's going to be a bunch of scoring in this game. But I mean, the coin flip's fun because it's just like you put a 5 spot on that, could double your money instantly and reinvest on the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
My favorite by far is the Gatorade color. It's like, I don't think they're up yet, but it was always blue last year. It was always blue the year before. It's going to be blue again. Don't get, you're going to see yellow get teased to like plus 400. You're going to see purple come in. You're going to see orange, which I think is the best Gatorade flavor, but it's never that. It's always blue. Take blue to the bank. It's going to be like plus 150. Swallow that. Throw a good amount of coin on it because it's blue. It's always blue on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet on that and bet on a ton of other things like the NBA, where for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every single day. Just head over to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. And if it doesn't hit, you get a free bet back. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use that promo code PHNX. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA, get $200 in free bets as well instantly. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app with promo code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Void in Ohio. David wrote us in the chat saying mine is Shane over 10.5 barks. I think that hits at halftime. That should be easy, unless we get an Odell situation like the Deef and lock last year, where Odell over receiving yards was a lock, and then the turf monster quite literally grabbed him and twisted his knee. That should be a lock as well. Johnny, let's talk about some NBA. Lots of good games today. Should be fun. What do you like?
It's a loaded slate, and our precious Phoenix Suns are back in action, and they are over 500. Not sure if you knew this or not, and they host the Raptors, who are low-key terrible, and the Suns are playing over 500 ball over the course of the second half of January. I'm going to continue to ride them. Chris Paul looks like, he's got his legs back. There's some conspiracy theories out there, Shane, that he was deliberately sad so he could, get his mind right for the second half and not wear down his body, which I love, because I think the Cardinals, the Suns do not need to chalk up 60+ wins and get the number 1 seed. They just need to go into the playoffs healthy, and I think they've got as good a chance as anybody. We've got Devin Booker coming right around the corner. I think the Suns keep it going tonight. I also think the Warriors are the benefactor tonight of going into a Thunder team that is, I believe, off a back-to-back and a little bit banged up. And then finally, the Lakers. Again, usually I would sell my stock on the Lakers. Big emotional loss in Boston, but they've had a day off, and they've been playing relatively well. 3-2 over their last 5 before a game that they should have won. So I do think they're going to at least cover tonight at Brooklyn. This is a game, LeBron going to Brooklyn, that he will get up for. I think again, if you're dabbling on some props on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, I would take the over for points for LeBron, which I think is right around 30, because they got screwed out of a W the other night. I have no love lost for the Lakers, but I'm going with some marquee matchups tonight. I believe the Laker-Nets game is on NBA TV, so check that out.
Let's go. Love it. Let's talk about my favorite team in the NBA to fade, the Minnesota Timberwolves. We in Minnesota
Nice.
now. Give me the Kangs and give me their money line. -115. De'Aaron Fox has been on a tear. You know how much I love Kevin Huerter. You know how much I love Domantas Sabonis. I love this team. Kings money line in Minnesota, -115. Johnny, have you seen the Minnesota fans getting a little pissed about people calling it the worst trade in NBA history? And they're like posting the standings. They're like, we're in 5th place. What do you mean? Yeah, you mortgaged your future and you're in 5th place in a Western Conference where 3 games, if you lose 3 games and every other team wins 3 games, guess where you are? You're in 13th. Like, this isn't about being average. You mortgaged your future.
Well, they barely got in last year. This is an improvement from last year. Some teams have different standards. Some teams have different standards.
Yeah, they're setting it almost exactly where they were last year at 27 and 25. I am not a believer in them. I think they nosedive here soon. Give me the Kings money line. Start this nosedive right now. I also like the Blazers tonight. Mr. Anthony Simons has been on a tear. The Blazers are hosting the Hawks. Not a big fan of the Hawks right now. They're going to move some pieces before the trade deadline. Love Anthony Simons and the Portland Trailblazers at home, -2 tonight against the Hawks. And then that game we're talking about on NBA TV, going to be a snooze fest. Give me the over, or give me the under at 231. I don't think it's actually going to be a snooze fest, but that's too many points for me to stomach with LA and Brooklyn. These teams are old and tired. I don't think they're just going to score a lot of points. I also got some props for you guys, and I talked about Anthony Simons a little bit. I'll talk about him some more. Give me Anthony Simons' over on points at 20.5. The dude shoots threes and he makes them. That's all I need to say. -115 on the DraftKings Sportsbook guys. Speaking of a guy that likes to shoot threes, Mr. James Harden, 36.5 is his PRA tonight. No Joel Embiid, most likely. He's questionable with a foot injury. Joel Embiid has been on a tear. Is he the MVP or is Jokic the MVP? We'll get into more of that when it gets closer. But for now, James Harden, if Embiid doesn't play, 36.5 is a great number that will skyrocket. If he does play, I still like 36.5 as it is on the DraftKings Sportsbook app at -125.
Let's get to my prop, my lone prop, which has nothing to do with the NBA. Did it even get a graphic?
No, I didn't make a graphic for this.
Shane didn't even give so the off-season specials are one of my favorite things to do on DraftKings. And, I would have thought about 6 or 7 times now that we would have had a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals. We do not yet. So right now, the Cardinals are the lone team remaining on DraftKings that you can even get odds for. You can't get odds on the Colts, on the Broncos, certainly the Houston Texans, potentially hiring D'Amico Ryans. So the roller coaster continues right now on DraftKings. Sean Payton at +120, Brian Flores -130. But then we have a report this morning, Shane, that the Arizona Cardinals are going to meet with both Brian Callahan and Lou Amorano, the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, Amorano, who did a fantastic job yesterday. I texted Shane during the game. I said, Lou's big time. I don't know if he's a good head coach. So right now, respectively, Brian is +1,000 and Sweet Lou is +1,200. So if you're of the mindset, I'm not saying that I am, that the Cardinals are restarting their search this week from scratch and will hire a Bengals coordinator as their next head coach, place a 5 spot, hedge your bet, place it on both. And you're gonna be a benefactor of that. So I love the offseason specials on DraftKings, and I will keep the NBA conversation or NFL conversation going into the offseason. So we will find little gems like this over the course of the coming months.
Love it. Anything else before we get out of here, Johnny?
Yeah, we're tired, but we're grinding. PHNX Cardinals is live today at 4 p.m. Myself, Bo Brock, on the eve of when Bo and Shane leave for Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. We're going to be giving you the latest as it relates to the head coaching search for the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe we'll get a coach hired between now and the show, maybe not, but we're going to give you everything that we know as it relates to what Michael Bidwell and company are going to do. Who knows? But right now, go make your voice heard on the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Absolutely. Yep. Flying out to Mobile 1 p.m. tomorrow. Very excited for that. Keep it locked in at PHNX_sports across all socials, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure to follow PHNX_Cardinals on Twitter as well for all the latest on the Senior Bowl. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Deef. Excuse me. You can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. Follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. We're here every Monday through Friday at noon on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. But until next time, peace, love, and turnover luck was not enough.